talk about, the business from the standpoint of throughout history. How did the business make money, and what do you do differently today in terms of survival, making money, and those kinds of things?
Yeah, that's that again. That is something that we have gotten good at. The pivot, we kind of call it over here. So when my great grandfather and his wife and kids started this company, they made Italian bread, they made pizza, which I put it in my bio. If anybody takes a peek at it, if not the first, we were the first family to serve pizza in Rochester. Again, he started making bread, and his wife said, let's make the pizza like we did at home, but being back in Italy, and we'll see if people want it. So that was one, they added that. And then my grandmother had a really good sauce recipe. So, let's make gnocchis. Let's start selling gnocchis. So we got bread, pizza, and gnocchis. Kind of a weird combo, a lot of carbs, but and then, my grandfather would say, oh, do you remember they used to make the sfogliatelle? It's an Italian pastry. They started making that. So it was one thing after another. Again, not making enough money in one section, adding something else on, to the point now where, Michael, this company, we constantly say it, could be 4 or 5 companies. All, you could branch off and do a sandwich shop out of this place. You could do a pizzeria. You could do a catering company. You could do a full service restaurant. You could do a full service wholesale bread company. We didn't realize how much we were actually doing. We just came in and did it before the pandemic. When the help issue kind of happened, now you're like, oh my God, we do so much in a day. We're cleaning romaine, for salads for our dining room. And we were 7 days a week at that point, cleaning romaine, and in the same kitchen across the way, making sub rolls for a deli up the street. So I'm having, we had 50, probably 52 employees, and everybody kind of did their thing. This guy's doing this, this guy's doing that. But again, 5, 6 different companies. Now, our pivot now currently is, so during the pandemic, this is it's gotten so old that bringing it up, but the pandemic itself changed the way so many people do things in their own business and their walls. We're actually,
don't apologize for bringing that up. The pandemic was a game changer. It's one of the biggest things that we've seen in our generation and had to live through and figure out what we're going to do. So anything that you're talking about right now is somebody else is going through something and said, ooh, I didn't think of that one. You know what? I'm going to grab that. So I appreciate you talking about it, Marcy.
Okay. My dad and, we said, we have to do something to make this business run a little bit smoother with less hands, and less help. We were fortunate enough that a couple bakeries in our areas, they were some of the, like I just talked about, some of those that are gone. A lot of good people, a lot of hard workers, but they couldn't make it work. And I think we were able to make it work just because of our diversity in the business. I'm sorry. Kind of back, we were blessed with the fact that the phone started ringing for product. In 2019, along with our just giant thing that was happening, we decided to expand our bakery just based on, it really was a lot of speculation. We were hoping to kind of go that route anyways, to expand our bakery and kind of focus on that, just because, again, it was our foundation, the bread and the dough. And we kind of wanted to, my brother, myself, and my father, we wanted to kind of expand, but simplify at the same time. So we're not cleaning the romaine and we're not doing this, which we still do today, but just in a way smaller scale. but put all of our focus into our bread. When we did that in 2019, we had around 20 accounts, wholesale accounts, the delis, the grocery stores, the restaurants. And once we put this equipment in place in 2019, the business started to grow. I mean, we went from 30 accounts, 15, 20 accounts to 40 in the matter of a week. And then we went from 40 wholesale accounts to 80 in the matter of 2 months. When the pandemic hit and those companies went, we service around 300 wholesale accounts on a daily basis. We have two vehicles and 4 runs that we manage on our own. And then we deal with around 6 to 7 third-party distributors. They're called breadmen in our area, where they come in with their cube vans and they pick up, 30 stops or, and that's kind of where that, when I brought the pivot in, that's that pivot that we kind of made because we had to, but we also got lucky, and it's been really, really, really good going that way. So
let me see if I make sure I understand that. So before, you were mostly a retail business, the restaurant, the bakery. If somebody wanted a sub, they could probably stop in and get a sub or a pizza or whatever, right? And then back in 2019, you've got some wholesale places, but about 20 of them, and you decided to really go deep into the wholesale world. And let me catch this. What they're called, breadmen? Is that what you?
That's what they're called. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Whether it's a man or a woman driving the van, it's truck, it's the breadmen. And you started working with them. Did you work with them pre-pandemic?
We did. So we had one account, one breadman that came in who had 2 vehicles. And this is actually a cousin of ours whose grandfather, this is going to get a little weird, but his grandfather and my great grandfather were brothers. And so that man, his name is Nick Petrillo, and my great grandfather, he's a Petrillo also. His grandfather and him were partners at a bakery.
So is that Petrillo's?
Petrillo's Bakery was my great grandfather's brother. Yeah.
So now I need to tell you a story.
Okay.
Way before anything, I was doing a summer job for the county of Monroe, and one of the guys in my truck loved Petrillo's. And so we would each go in at like 7 a.m, and we would stop the truck when we were in that area, go in, grab a loaf of bread, and that would be our breakfast because it was right out, it was so good.
Yep, State Street. Yep. Yeah, they were good at it. They really did. So anyways, their grandson and I were doing business, and my father, we were doing business. He was he was the only guy. He would show up at 3 o'clock in the morning, take our stuff, and we didn't know where it was going and just took it.
Got it.
And that word spread from him. He would be at a bakery picking up pies, and they would see our stuff on his truck and say, "Where'd you get that?" "I got it from Giuseppe's. It's my cousin over across town. Call them. You can pick up there at 4 a.m. And that just kind of exploded. And now we have, 6 or 7 of those guys are here every morning at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to take the product out. So, yeah.
Love it. Good for you. That's just brilliant in thinking about that, sustain business, be open to opportunities because you don't know which ones are going to be the ones that do it for you. So what percentage of your business is retail today versus wholesale?
Yeah. So